Hey, what's happening, everyone? So it's Mary Knight again, and today I'm just finally going to be showing you guys my Dragonoid Maximus deck profile. This is a video I've been meaning to make for like the past 2 months now. I just never got around to actually doing it. Mainly because like I keep all my Bakugan stuff in my car, so I don't really actually bring it back into the house much anymore, just because I just go straight to tournaments and such. And I don't have much room to put all my stuff, so I just never brought it back in from the car, so I didn't get around to making a video on this particular deck until just about now. This is a deck I ran with right after in the tournament following up the Age of Aurelus pre-release. So this was the September deck that I was using. So it's Dragonoid Maximus, obviously, it goes for a win condition, but it is ultimately a pretty good deck, even if you don't achieve that win condition. So, first things first, let's go over the Bakugan. So, obviously, we have Titan Dragonoid. This is the one thing that you actually need in the deck. 703 shield and regular fist, so all around pretty good stats. We have Chaos Maxitor Ultra. And, so 107, pretty poor B power, but that 7 allows it to get off Mac or Might pretty well. Plus, its Evo is really good for hero-based decks, which this is very much a hero-based deck. So, and our Ventus slot is Fangzor Ultra. So, this guy's 101, but on a shield or fist, he gets plus 500, plus 5. So, with the shields I'm running, the maximum this guy can get to without any cards is 900, because I don't have a shield that does 400 for Ventus, but still, regardless, that's, I tend to try and hit him on a fist and Holy Flame, which will get him up to 1350, 8, so that's kind of the goal with Fangzor Ultra here. So those are the 3 Bakugan. Let's move them out of the way and look at our cores. So I have 1 plus 300 B core. I have 2 plus 400 for Pyrus and Chaos. And 3 plus 150 plus 2 fist cores. Now, onto the actual deck itself. First things first, we're going to start off with the action cards. I'm running 2 Holy Flames. Turn 1 plus 600 on a fist is really good. And that is the only B-Power boosting card I have in this deck. I also have 1 Song of Fire. 2 Sky's Hymn. So this is pretty much a end of the turn phase. I just dropped this so that I can know what's coming up. I'm running 1 Might of Syndius. Now we got 3 Air Zeros in here, and Air Zero is kind of a controversial card right now because it's a risk. It's very much a risk. You don't know if you're paying 2 costs is going to actually end up giving you something beneficial or not. But in this deck, it's actually a very safe bet, partially because of Sky's Hymn, because I can just drop that at the end of turn 1 if I win, or even if I lose and don't spend any energy. Just drop that at the end of turn 1, and I know, oh, am I going to have a 10 cost card coming up that I can just drop this for and get right away. It's like Dragonoid Maximus, of course, but and there is one more way that this is much safer in this deck, and we'll get into that later. But that's what I'm running 3 of them because I can guarantee it's not a risk. We're running 2 Divine Interventions. So basically being able to play Dragonoid Maximus for 4 costs, or even 2 costs because of Super Fuel is really good. Speaking of Super Fuel, I am naturally running 3 of them in this deck. So yeah, just being able to get Dragonoid Maximus off on turn 2 with Divine Intervention and Super Fuel, it's a very, very strong combination. And even if I don't get Dragonoid Maximus, I can get Maxitor off, turn 2 again, and then play a hero for free, it's ultimately a pretty good play. So that's all of my action cards. Next, we're moving on to Evos. Of course, the mainstay of this deck, 3 Dragonoid Maximuses. You know, that 10 cost with the instant win condition that's just getting that out there. And I have done that a couple times now. Being able to actually pull off that Maximus win condition, it's very, very satisfying. Running 3 Maximus Max Tor Ultra. As I was saying, whenever you play this, you may play a hero for free. So just getting this out, and then just dropping a hero from your hand is very useful, especially with a lot of the heroes cost. Actually, all the heroes in this deck cost 4 or more, so it's very risky putting a hero out there. And then lastly, I am running just 2 Titan Fangs or Ultras. Very big boy, even though it takes till turn 4 to get out. 202 or plus, and then plus 1,000 and plus 10 on a fist or shield. Since that's all that this deck brings to the table, it's a pretty good card to have. Now we're on to the heroes of the deck. I'm running 3 of Battle Brawler's Dan. Naturally, why would I not try and cheese cards out with Dan? I am running 2 of Resurgence Dan. Again, just something that's like, why would I not put as much Dans in this deck as possible? But I can put a third one in there, but that would require me taking space away from some other cards in the deck, so I choose not to. And, of course, I have 2 Age of Aurelus Dans, and this is a card that's like, I will not play this card from my hand for the cost. I have to get this card out for free, meaning I have to Dan Kuzo, Lia, or Maxitor into this in order for it to be useful, because if I spend 5 costs to get this out on turn 5, then I have no energy left and my opponent has 10. So that's why I don't really use this. Normally, it's just like, if I can get it out through cheesing, I will. So since we were only running 1 Might of Syndius, I'm running 2 Max. It's a bit later in the game to use it, but it's still Mac, so it's still good. And we have 2 AA Lias. And this is basically my safeguard for Air Zero. Basically, it's every time I open a Bakugan, I look at the top 3 cards in my deck, and if one of those is a hero, I can play it for free. Meaning that every time I open a Bakugan, I know what the top 3 cards in my deck is, meaning I know what I'm going to top deck if I use Air Zero. So, once this is out, Air Zero is no longer a gamble ever. So, it works really good with Air Zero. It works really good at getting some of my heroes out, especially AA Dan, just so I can get stuff like Dragonoid Maximus out for the actual cost, rather than or trying to cheese it out if I can't get those cheese outs. And then 2 Battle Brawler Wintons. These are literally just here for the win condition. I don't actually make use of any of their effects. So, in that sense, I may as well try and get the AA Winton, since that one would probably just work out better for this deck. But I didn't pull any AA Wintons when I did the Age of Aurelus pre-release. And lastly, we have the flip cards. I'm running a total of 5 flips. Running 1 Tiger Reflex, 2 Ventus Web Whip, a single Nightmare, and lastly, a single Guard Sphere. So those 2 cost flips give me coverage for everything, as well as Tiger Reflex give me coverage for everything. So that's why I really like these AA 2 cost flips. They're not excellent, but they're a good balance of coverage versus cost. Something that the 3 cost flips don't really have because it's a bit too expensive to use, and the 1 cost and 0 cost flips just don't. And since I'm running Pyrus Chaos and Ventus, I don't have access to Pact of Darkness. So there's that one good, really good 0 cost flip right there. But yeah, that is my Dragonoid Maximus deck. It's I'd say it's fairly decent. It's worked plenty of times already. I have managed to get the win condition off a few times. More often than not, I end up actually winning just regularly with this deck. But it's still a very potent deck without the win condition, and with the win condition, if you can get that off, it's incredible. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.